Hello everyone, and welcome once again to S.H.I.E.L.D. Discussions. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm the real Manos.
Manos, we got more S.H.I.E.L.D.
Alright. Holy S.H.I.E.L.D., here we go.
Yeah, I'm loving this not having to wait 2 weeks to see an episode thing. This is really fun. I find I remember what happened last time.
Yeah, you don't have to hit Wikipedia.
Before we get started on today's episode, The Only Light in the Darkness, let's touch on Providence again for a second and go through a few questions and comments from last time. But you know what? Before we get started, let me mention that I'm running a little bit haphazard tonight. We are shooting this early and posting it early, early for us. This usually goes out on Friday. I'm going to be out of town all weekend, and so we wanted to go ahead and get this up, which means I've only seen the episode one time. I usually watch them twice, and we just didn't have time to do it that way this time. So this may not be as thorough of a discussion as we usually have. Also, it means that I did not get the chance to go in and take select questions and comments out. So I'm going to run through this and mention a couple as I go down this list. So everybody bear with me. There's going to be a lot of me going, what should I talk about next? Jeremy B. In that voice, Jerry B. From last episode says that his prediction is that either Ward or Sky will be the one who eventually kills Garrett. I think that's fair. And what do you think, Manos? Do you think Garrett's likely to get killed this season? Because I do. I think it's unlikely he makes it out alive.
I agree. I think he is the big bad for the season, so I think the season will end with him getting popped. Or at least really decimated to the part where you think he's not coming back. As far as who will be doing that, I can't really, at this point, guess.
It just seems like it's very likely to be some sort of poetic justice. But honestly, if it was a poetic justice, I mean, with Ward, it wouldn't be poetic so much as I've changed sides completely. Honestly, could be Coulson.
Well, to be honest, it would probably be one of three characters, either Sky, Ward, or Coulson. I doubt
Yeah.
May's mother will be the one who kills him.
Yeah, it's gonna be May's mother.
That would be fantastic, though. Don't get me wrong.
I kind of hope we get to see her again. She instantly seemed fascinating.
Yeah.
The Mick2639 says Garrett is like the religious cult leader who doesn't believe his own message but uses it to fleece his congregation. I'm glad you said that. That's a good call.
I've read that comment too. I thought that was actually pretty insightful.
Mass Sci-Fi Fan, one of my favorite things in this episode was Ward and Garrett's interactions. Even though I initially hated Ward's turn to evil, I have to admit that the dynamic between them was pretty entertaining. Yeah, I kind of hope that they're winning people over with that, because more and more I'm buying that it makes sense that it was that way from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. I would watch a spin-off with Ward and Garrett. They could be they could call it Ward and Garrett, Evil Dudes.
Yeah, there is definitely a sitcom in there.
Yeah, where they have like an apartment in New York, and they're like killing people. I don't know.
This is the big one I wanted to read, and bear with me, Manos, because this one is sort of long, but there's some good points here and some stuff that I didn't even kind of think of. So let's talk about this comment. King of Mad Cows, by the way, that's a great name. Well done choosing your handle. He says, despite the improvements to the show, there are still too many problems that really bother me. The characters still act pretty dumb, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is still portrayed as being too incompetent. The team now knows that Hydra has infiltrated every level of S.H.I.E.L.D. for decades, so Hydra knows most of, if not all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s secrets. That means there's a good chance that Hydra can intercept their communications. So why are they still relaying important information through cell phones or electronically? Yeah, that's a good call. At the very least, say something like, it's encrypted and we made up new encryption. Do they not realize that Hydra could be listening in on them? You'd think that Sky, the resident hacker who railed against S.H.I.E.L.D. spying on everyone, would be cognizant of it. So her calling Ward to give away the location of the Providence base was just dumb. Not just bad move on her part, but also not very smart for Patton Oswalt's character. I think he's got a good point there, and I thought that there was even some more kind of leaps in logic with stuff that Patton Oswalt's character was doing in this episode, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
He also says and this is the big one I wanted to talk about. May suspecting Coulson of being influenced by Hydra doesn't make much sense. They just learned that the people who spent the entire season trying to discover the secret of Coulson's resurrection were working for Hydra. So if Hydra had infiltrated Tahiti and took part in Coulson's resurrection, why would they need to find out about how it happened? In fact, it would make much more sense if May and everyone else were suspicious of Fury's plans because of Fury's death, since if Hydra killed him, then there's a chance that Hydra might know some, if not all, of his plans. I think you're maybe onto something with that second part, but I'm especially latching on to the first part. Yeah, why is and I don't know why I didn't think about that. I really liked the idea that May is afraid that Hydra might have messed with his brain, and that whoever it was that was actually responsible could have been Hydra. But if the if Garrett's whole thing was I've got to find out how that happened and he's part of Hydra, that doesn't make a lot of sense. What are we missing?
Hmm. I suppose not. But you know what? Let's keep in mind how confused everyone is right now. I mean,
Right, everybody.
everybody's got to be wondering what the hell. I mean, like an entire organization of thousands have to be really confused right now. So I don't know. I can buy confusion right now. I mean, especially considering these episodes are taking place like in the days after the fall of Shield.
Yeah, fair enough, but don't you think May is a little too smart for that?
Uh, she is. Um, I do wonder that I'm trying to see her theory of what could be happening, and you know,
That's what I'm saying too, because the thing is, Hydra seems to kind of have all their stuff together. Like they don't seem to be working all like randomly splintered and stuff, right? Like I would assume that they kind of well, maybe I'm wrong about this. I've kind of been assuming this whole time that all of Hydra is kind of behind and backing Garrett.
that may or may not be true.
And if that's the case, this guy has a really good point. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. It, he could be a splinter group one. That's kind of actually.
Because I mean, if he was acting completely of his own accord, and I mean, I don't think Coulson or May have any reason to think that that's what's going on. Of course, like because he's got this whole army of Hydra people working with him. If he was working of his own accord, then she's got a really good reason to think that. But he played up this whole clairvoyant thing to make everybody think that he had these superpowers where he was reading people's minds, and the only one he couldn't read was Coulson's. Like that is pretty elaborate,
Mm,
and
yeah.
you're and then you're afraid that Hydra it was actually responsible for what happened to Coulson all along. Yeah, so I wonder if there's not some leaps in logic in the writing and the writers kind of maybe writing a scene where they sort of forgot what the plot was. Now that you said that, now I can't believe I didn't think of that. That wasn't mine. That never occurred to me. Because I think I was just getting pulled too much into the drama of it all.
I also think that her thinking is that maybe what they did to his brain is sort of lying dormant. Frankly, like he is who he is, and she's worried like maybe somebody just needs to push a button on a keyboard, and now he's the enemy. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like all sorts of scenarios are going on, and not just her head, but like a whole bunch of other characters' heads.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because
When you have
everybody's feeling very demoralized right now in this.
Yeah, you're right. When you have misdirection inside of misdirection inside of misdirection, and you don't know who to trust, you've kind of got to cover all possible bases. So yeah, I guess I can sort of see both sides of it, but I don't know. That's a really good point.
Yeah, and also yeah, I don't know. I think she still believes in him. It's just she's not 100% on that. She's probably not even. She's probably
But
I don't know, maybe
yeah,
50-50.
but keep in mind that that wasn't something she just came up with.
Yeah,
Like what we were talking about was like Fury was maybe worried that he couldn't trust whoever it was that he put in charge of that.
yeah.
So anyway, Papa Shogun says, whenever I hear the opening and closing music to this podcast discussion, I feel like I need to run down the hallway and jump out a window before breaking the glass like a stuntman.
Maybe we should change the theme music then.
The guy we were talking about before, King of Mad Cows, also said that he wondered why the fridge facility wasn't better guarded. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you put all of the, and I meant to mention that last episode. You put all of these amazing pieces of technology all in one place where you pretended like you sent them up into space, but then you don't have very much in the way of guards.
My only guess is maybe they were worried that if they put too much security on it, it would be a warning sign.
Or maybe so, but at least inside.
Yeah. Well, you still got to hire those guys and people. Also, hey,
Yeah,
by
that's
the way,
plan.
it's
Yes.
cheaper to produce a show with less extras.
Well, you know what? That's probably the whole reason. Well, let's move on. There's no reason to keep talking about that. You're absolutely right. Lydia Cabero says maybe the cybernetic implant Garrett has on him is a computing device, which is how he communicates with Deathlock. That's interesting. That might be the case,
Ooh,
or he
that's
might,
cool.
or he may have some. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, because like he could be communicating sort of, and then he'd be like technologically telepathic, so he'd be sort of pseudo clairvoyant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not totally a lie.
And then that I actually now that she says that, I hope that's what it is, Manos, because then he could be sending his thoughts to that computer when they're in the room with the fake clairvoyant.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now he
That
doesn't
would
have
be
to hire
really
any.
cool.
That's actually brilliant. That actually makes a lot of sense.
I hope that's what it is.
That's
I doubt that's what it is, but I hope it is. That's
that's
cool.
actually very Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
You need to
Victor
watch Ghost in
Redmond.
the Shell.
I do. I know, but I know enough about Ghost of the Shell to know what you're talking about. I know that Matrix ripped off of enough of Ghost of the Shell to know what you're talking about.
That's true.
Victor Redman, this commentary got me thinking, why would Fury deem it necessary to put Coulson under observation following his resurrection? Why was the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. can bring people back from the dead such a huge secret, even within the upper echelon of the organization? And why has it been used so sparingly? I've been wondering that myself. He goes on to say, based on what we know so far, there's only one plausible answer that I can think of. Tahiti is a Hydra project. But again, like we were talking about earlier, I don't see how if Hydra has been behind Garrett. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see.
Well,
Really.
don't forget, AIM exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now.
Oh, that's
Don't forget
true.
about AIM.
Really early on, Dan and I were suggesting that that organization Centipede might actually be AIM in disguise or something.
Hmm, that's a good idea.
So I don't know. Let me see if there's anything else here that I want to mention. Dun dun dun. Well, why don't we go ahead and go on to today's episode, shall we?
This
This week's episode is the only light in the darkness, which introduces a kind of minor Marvel villain in here again, and brings us back to some superpowered stuff, which is fun to kind of get back to, and also finally introduces the cellist with a major Joss Whedon alum. So, Manos, let's get into general overview and just really broadly. Did you like this one as much as you have the last couple?
I did.
Whole
It
interest
was.
angles? What do you think of the whole thing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did like this one. Maybe not as good as the last couple, because they were more intense. This one, you know what? This episode, oddly enough, reminded me a little bit of the first story arc of Brian Michael Bendis' New Avengers run, because Shield is destroyed, the world is changed, and we have this group banding together to keep fighting the fight, but on the run. And that's kind of almost what Bendis was doing with the New Avengers, because the Avengers were decimated and broken and lost trust, and a group of them put themselves together to go after a big prison break. Uh, actually, wait, there's actually it does remind me a lot of the first arc of New Avengers. So I kind of I found this direction really interesting, and I wonder how much of the show will be kind of focused in this way.
I I kind of liked the change of pace. I think it made a lot of sense to not keep up that huge, high intensity, real fast paced stuff with Ward coming back in because it's a different sort of suspense. We need to kind of feel like the our main characters, besides Ward, through most of this episode, where they have no idea what's going on, so we kind of bring it back to that kind of we feel safe sort of feel. It's like they bring him back, and now things are better because our whole team is back together. And then it's no mistake that we get that May leaves this episode, right? Because like we're splintering the group, and it's already splintered, and they don't know that. Or well, I guess it was from the beginning because Ward has never really been on their side, but they didn't know that. And so I really kind of liked the tension of we know what Ward is and we're waiting for him to strike. He's a snake in the grass. And I was kind of worried that they were going to string us along real hard and that he wasn't going to strike next. And the pacing is really good. I like that. I like that he already has made his move.
I agree. They did need to change up the pacing because if they had attempted for the rest of the season to go in that same pace for the last two episodes, I think it would have gotten tired and boring very quickly.
Um, Yeah, and I just kind of like that kind of uneasy feeling as a viewer where everybody thinks things are better, but then they're not really. I thought it was a cool choice to do that montage of with the lie detector, and then not give us any of Ward until he's in the room by himself.
Oh! Did you catch the question about Alexander Pierce?
No, I didn't.
Oh, one of the questions actually he asked of a couple of agents is, "What's your relationship with Alexander Pierce?"
Who is that?
Oh, he's the villain in Captain America. He's the Robert
Oh,
Redford
that's right. That's
character.
right. That's right. Okay, I should have looked that up again because I forgot his name. Yes, of course of course that's who that is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, watched it
I was
once
like,
until I
"Oh
forgot the
yeah,
guy's name. Well, the thing is, when I've been talking about Winter Soldier, everybody just keeps bringing calling him Robert Redford, and I totally forgot what his character name was. So anyway, thanks for refreshing me on that, man.
that's okay." He yeah, I admit that too. It's like he's the evil Robert Redford, not some guy.
I'm gonna go through some linear notes, hit some specific stuff. Manos, here's a little criticism, and I tend to bring this up with a lot of TV stuff, but here it was even worse than normal to me. It was kind of glaring. I don't like it when shows feel the need to give us quick flashes to things like we can't remember what happened last week. And I feel like kind of just reminding us of things in the moment in case we haven't been paying attention or we have the attention span of a 3-year old. And what I and it bothers me in something like this because it plays a little bit like, okay, we've got to keep everybody to speed that hasn't been watching the show. But if you look at how the ratings have kind of stabilized, but they're not as good as they were really early on and stuff. That there aren't a lot of new people coming in and watching the show. Most of the people that are still watching the show have been watching it. So I don't think we need to do that. Like we're in a place now where it's very archy. I think now is not the time to start doing these like quick flashes to everything that Ward is talking about while he is lying to his team and then showing us what actually happened. Yeah, we were there. We get it. Like have I don't know, have a little bit of subtlety in that. I don't like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, you're talking yeah. I don't know. That was okay, I guess, but I see what you're talking about. Um,
I just like viewing to be a little bit more of an active experience. Where you can let me use my brain a little bit,
yeah.
and it's tough. It's a tough line to walk. I do often complain about times when things are not explicit enough about plot points, but that's a matter of making me understand something in the moment that I need to know and giving me enough information, as opposed to constantly bashing me over the head with things that I've seen already. And I don't know, just the way he's talking, like I would have understood all that. I didn't need those flashes. That's just how I feel about it. What else? Let me move on through some notes here. Okay, so the whole orientation thing I thought was a really cool idea. I wondered if Fury felt like he had to build this whole lie detector test from scratch, this like souped up amazing lie detector. It makes me think that maybe Coulson wasn't lying early on in the season about Shield having a truth serum. I guess Shield doesn't have a truth serum.
No, because you can cheat and get away with it, just like a real standard lie detector. Ward was able to get through, and this is
Well,
supposed to be the super duper lie detector that may or may not be able to work on Black Widow.
here's the problem
I
I
love
have
that
with it.
line, by the way.
Yeah, that was cool. Here's the problem I have with it though. He didn't get away with it. His chart thingy was fluctuating as he was answering the questions about Hydra, and then Koenig changes his mind and decides that he's completely trustworthy when he answers the question about when he answers the question about why he's really there, being because I want to be here and help Sky.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I did not buy any of that. I didn't buy any of it. I really liked it when he pulled the gun out and stuff, and I was like, oh, he's got him cornered. And then I thought, oh God, I think I know where this is going, and it went exactly where I thought it was going to.
Mhm.
Look, he should be smarter than that. This guy, these Shield agents should have been trained for this sort of thing. He is masking lies with grains of truth
Yeah.
and not masking all of them. So the fact that he's fluctuating that hard on that much of it should at the very least make Koenig really suspicious and make him go to Coulson and say, I'm not sure about this guy. I don't know how I came back for Sky is enough to make him completely trustworthy.
Oh,
I don't
that
get
is
that.
that
So
is a good. Yeah, because just because he wants to have sex with someone doesn't make him not evil.
or just because he has loyalty to a Shield agent, sort of, and that's not even necessarily loyalty. Like why is he taking so much stock in that? And I know what folks are gonna say. It's the way they I think kind of were trying to play it up was maybe Koenig thinks that all the fluctuations are because of his wounds. Because he says, oh, are you in pain? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, don't move around so much. And so the idea is if he's in that much pain, then the test isn't reliable anyway. Well, if that's the case, if he's fluctuating that much through the whole test, and it seems like really convenient questions that he's fluctuating on, if that's the case, then it should be completely unreliable anyway. And then Koenig, being as much of a stickler as he is on, I don't want to let anybody in this place that I don't know personally, that I can't trust, except for Coulson. He ought to go to Coulson and say, look, we just can't trust this guy. The test is unreliable. He can't be here, and that's not what he does. I didn't buy that.
That actually is a really good point, and it does cost him.
So I don't know. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, and it cost him, and I hate that because I really like that character, and I wanted him to be smarter than
I
that.
like that character, and I like Patton Oswalt. Although to be honest, Patton Oswalt gets killed in a lot of stuff, so he actually lasted about as long as I thought. And
Yeah,
him dying kind of played out the exact way I figured it would. Ward would come and kill him. That's pretty much what I expected.
I
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess that's probably a criticism I have is that played out exactly like I thought it would. Not so much that this guy I like got killed. That is one thing, but I mean he got killed the exact way I kind of was like hoping he would. Um,
yeah. As soon as Ward was like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and commandeer the stat feed. Sure, I was like, yeah, he's not gonna make it. He's done.
okay,
I mean, I like Ward's subterfuge. Okay, that's all fine. But no, you're right. That's maybe kind of a casting thing. Where like it's great to see Patton Oswalt there, but I'm sure a lot of people might have called that just because of who it was.
yeah.
I thought, since we're in that scene, I thought, or that section anyway, I thought it was kind of amusing that his character. Oh, what was it? I just lost my train of thought. I have a note here about that. What was it? Sorry, give me a second.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, so how long does Ward think that he can get away with telling the others that Koenig is still there somewhere. That started getting unintentionally funny for me when he was like, "Oh no, he's off in this other place doing this thing." Like I forget what exactly it was, and like I said, I only had a chance to watch it once. But when Sky comes in finally, and by the way she plays up that scene where she's freaking out about who Ward really is, I thought that was quite good. But when she comes in and she's pretending like everything's okay, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, it's before that." When she comes in, before she knows, when she comes in and she's like, "Hey, where's Koenig?" Ward says he's off doing something, and the thing that he says Koenig is doing sounded to me like a thing he would need those computers there for. Like it sounded like, and again, I can't remember what it was, but it sounded like something that he would have been in that room doing. I was like, okay, she's buying this. Where is he doing that? Really funny after that. Of course, at this point, she knows about Ward, but when he's like, oh, he's we can fly off.
Mhm.
These guys are flying off because I don't know how long you could possibly make them fly still alive. Manos, what other big things did you want to cover before we go to best moment, worst moment? I've still got a few little things I'll mention, but I want to make sure you get to say some stuff too.
Well, I guess we haven't really talked really about the I guess the A plot of the episode.
Yeah,
The cellist
right.
and Blackout coming to finish the job to kill her when we
Mhm.
have Coulson trying to protect and save her without her learning that he's still alive. I thought that stuff was very well handled, frankly.
I hope that we get, and I'm sure we will, especially given who the actress is. I kind of hope that we get her back and get some more character stuff with her because I thought that she was just because the episode had to juggle so much and she kind of was a device to do something with the bad guy and to parallel uh, blackouts love affair with Ward's, so that we've got this whole like the bad guy whose whole humanity is summed up in a single person.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So I felt like because of that, she got a little bit lost in the shuffle, and we just didn't get a lot from her. Like she seems like kind of a generic character so far.
Not too. Yeah, you're right. I think she's supposed to be in another episode too.
Oh, I'm sure she will be, and I'm sure they'll flesh her out. I'm just looking forward to getting to know her because Amy Acker is a really cool actress, and I was not even remotely surprised that that's who they picked for her. I was waiting for the beginning of the show to find out who Amy Acker was going to be in this show because I knew she'd be in here. She's an angel. She's in Dollhouse. It seems like these days everything that Whedon does, she's in. And I'm not complaining because I really like Amy Acker, but I was not surprised in the least that she was in there. It did irritate me though that the print ads in the comics showed her and said meet the cellist.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are we spoiling things like that in comic book? That's irritating. Let me see it in the show.
I don't
And
know.
I don't even mean it's Amy Acker. I just mean that like you're telling me next episode we're gonna get the cellist. Like I would have liked to have been surprised by that because I've been waiting to see. I knew from early on this season we'd finally see that character at some point, and I would have liked to have been surprised by it.
Hold on. We had a spill. Be right there. Hold on.
All right,
Okay, I'm back. Um.
what'd you spill, Manos?
Lindsay spilled. What is this stuff you're eating? Yogurt? Okay. All right, she's fine. She kind of spilled it. She spilled it partly on her, so I had to go get the towel because she
Lindsay,
couldn't move.
that was a great cameo, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Shield discussions with Logan, Manos, and Lindsay.
And Lindsay is spilling yogurt.
That was the worst part. That was Lindsay's least favorite part of this episode. The yogurt spilling.
The yogurt spilling.
But as far as what you were saying about spoiler,
Yeah.
I didn't mind that. It's interesting. Um, there's been such fervor over everything in this Marvel film universe that hey, this character we alluded to for like half a second in the Avengers movie is a selling point for this episode. Like, oh my god, the cellist, that person that was mentioned, we get to meet
Yeah,
her.
but no,
So
I get
I
that.
get why they used it to sell the episode. Like,
But that's not just a comic book thing now. Like her character has been invoked several times earlier in the series.
Yeah. But of course, that's leading up to it. And you're right. They made suggestions that they would be bringing her into the show, and of course, it's a whole series, and Coulson's the star, so obviously, like one of the few things we know about Coulson in the films has to be explored.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, you're right. It does seem a little bit silly where it's like we've got like the one thing we knew about him in the movies, so we've got to milk it for all it's worth. But we need to do character stuff like that, and so I'm glad we know what it is now. I do have to say that I'm a little bit on the fence about how I feel about their background in the first place. I don't know that I like, and maybe I'll be won over on it. I don't know, Manos, that I like that the cellist knew that Audrey knew that Coulson was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and that the way they met was he saves her and she falls in love with him. That seems a little bit that seems a little bit typical. It seems like the whole like doctor falls in love with his patient thing.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. I never really got the sense that I always got the sense that she was supposed to be when she's talked about in the Marvel movies in Iron Man and stuff. I always got the sense that she was supposed to be like the anchor that brings Coulson back down to Earth, where he's able to get away from the Shield stuff.
Well, who's to say that she wasn't?
Well, I'm sure she was, but like I don't know. I thought that was supposed to be like the normal part of Coulson's life, where like he just meets a girl and they go out. No, he meets a girl by saving her from a supervillain.
But then they went out. So
Yeah, I I guess it's okay. I don't know.
it's just that's such a
Everything
typical
have to be
movie
related
kind of
to
plot. Like, oh,
it is.
boy saves girl, and then they start
But that's what I
dating at the
don't.
end of the
That's what I'm not
movie,
sure about with
and
it.
and that's not the movie here. That's just the backstory. And so what we're getting here is what happens after that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that seems kind of like just I don't know.
Difficult.
I don't like. Yeah, I don't like it right off.
But
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 I
think
don't
about
know.
this: we didn't have to watch that.
No, I'm glad we didn't have to watch that, Manos. Fine. I just like this idea that Coulson has this kind of normal person like life on the side that he used to be able to have and now he can't anymore, and that like his death kind of killed that. And now I'm getting more the sense that he never quite got away from it in the first place. Um, I don't know. It's just like okay, you met a like oh I met a cellist saving her from a supervillain. Like, okay, all right.
Well, I mean,
But
hey,
that's I guess it's okay.
I don't have a problem of how he met as long as they had a relationship afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, of course they had to. But no, you're right. At least it wasn't like Coulson made more out of it than it really was, or something. Like, I'm glad they were actually in love. That's good.
Yeah, that would have been creepy.
That would have been, yeah, yeah. So I'm glad they didn't go there. I liked how subtle Coulson was about all that, where like when they first are talking about her just as the guy that Blackout is, or the woman that Blackout is going after, rather. He says that he has that line where he says some people just aren't that easy to get over, and he's talking about himself, but we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
And I liked that a lot. I thought his reasons for not telling her who he was made a lot of sense, and I'm even okay with his character arc where he wants to go back and try to make things up with May because he's been reminded of how sometimes you have to deceive your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I was fine with all that. I thought his character arc in this episode was pretty strong, and like I said, I really liked the kind of really sad and pathetic parallels between Blackout and Ward of like giving this woman that they're infatuated with like all of the responsibility in making them better people.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing I really latched onto here. This kind of selfishness of no, I need you to save me, and you are the thing that makes me, better than I am. And so, I like I'm completely justified in making your whole life about me because you're what humanizes me. I don't know. I relate to that. I feel like we've all known people in real life that are kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm with Lindsay. She makes me feel like a normal person. Like, otherwise, I'm this fantastic entity.
Oh man, yeah, and you have these powers where you can like steal energy from things and turn off lights.
No, I'm just really creative.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like how his powers work. I thought
I loved all that stuff. I loved
I
how
thought
just
actually,
walking closer, everything goes black. I just love it.
and
I
I
thought that
like
was
the way
really
that,
effective, very creepy, great use of his power.
and I also like how it's introduced because because at the very beginning we get this wonderful display of how his powers work, and we know right away that he doesn't just turn lights off, but he also can like steal the energy from people, and like he seems like a huge threat at the beginning. I like that we get to see everything he can do right there.
He does. I was beginning to wonder, like, wow, how is Colton going to beat this guy? Is this this? This is not the same Blackout from the Ghost Rider comic, is he?
No, huh?
Because like that guy's a vampire, and this guy is not a vampire.
Yeah, this guy's not a demon guy. He was turned into this in yet another experiment.
Okay, I do know that Blackout is a vampire who received those powers. I forgot how. You probably it's probably through the demon stuff, but I don't remember his actual name. Blackout's real name. So I don't know if this is supposed to be, the cinematic universe's version of that guy, just with no vampire powers.
No, it's not. And when we get the comic book references, I'll talk about who that really is.
Okay.
But I wanted to mention also one of my favorite things about this episode was the the way they mixed the cello playing with all of the with the soundtrack and all of the rest of the stuff that was going on. I thought the editing in that section was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just nice change of pace for this show. It was different
And,
and kind of creepy, and I don't know. I really liked all that. I mean, you kind of knew where it was going, but it was still it made it a lot of fun to watch.
and this was the exact episode that changed the pace up on. Oh, the third episode into this new world order.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because it doesn't feel as much like it did before that it's like this is all aftermath of Winter Soldier. Like now it feels like we're getting a lot back to our characters again and what they're about and who they are and like one of the things that the montage gave us with the lie detector was all of was a bunch of kind of personal stuff about our characters. Again, some of it was kind of obvious stuff that they threw out, but like when Simmons says the TARDIS, I cracked up. Like it was really funny.
Lindsay really loved that, by the way.
There was a lot of nice stuff like that.
And
Stuff.
we haven't talked about this. Triplet. He's the grandson of one of the Howling Commandos.
Right.
Oh my god, I got really excited about that part.
That was a really cool. I mean, it's a fun thing for the fans, but it's also a really cool thing for his character because I instantly like him more. That he's trying to go on his own steam and he doesn't want to he doesn't want to just rely on his like family legacy, and he doesn't want anybody to know about that. I thought that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and
That's really cool.
makes him a legacy. So I don't know. Uh, that was just wonderful. And like I've been digging this character, and uh,
Me too.
I'm hoping that's something that I think they're using to kind of cement him into the show and kind of ground him into the show. Which that's my hope. Like this guy becomes a regular.
I really think he's going to. And either that or Fitz is gonna freak out and do something horrible to him. One of those two things is going to happen. How do you feel about what they're doing with Fitz right now?
I do. I'm wondering where the Fitz storyline is going.
Me too.
I'm actually
That's gonna hit a boiling point at some point, right?
agreed. It probably won't until next season. I
I
believe.
don't know. I think it's building pretty hard. I think we're looking at something here in the next couple episodes.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, we do have quite a few episodes, so it might dedicate. I mean, I yeah, I'm just afraid of what he's going to do. Frankly, there's something about the way he's been acting that's been making me uneasy.
I think that there is likely to be this parallel building between how he feels about Simmons and how Ward feels about Sky. And I'm afraid that they're both going to do really reprehensible things because of their love or infatuation for another person. I don't know, just something about that with Fitz is really unsettling to me. I have this weird feeling like he's capable of anything. Like his whole world has fallen apart. I'm afraid he's gonna snap. I hope they don't throw him under the bus too far because I like Fitz a lot now.
We'll
And
see.
so like I don't want him to freak out and do something like really melodramatic and crazy. But at the same time, I feel like they're building toward him doing something. It might not be illegal, but it'll be something.
Yeah, I can't even hazard to guess. There's actually at this point we've been given so much. I mean, we haven't been giving we haven't been given anything at all. Excuse me.
I just think that
But
it can't be a coincidence that they're building the Ward Sky thing the way they are at the same time that there's suddenly a love triangle there.
agreed. I think thematically that's a clue of something that's coming up. It's just we're so early into this. I can't really even guess what he's going to do. Either something just simple human drama, or something kind of
Crazy.
villainous.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know where this is going to go.
oh, I was gonna say let's go to best moment, worst moment. For before we do that, let's I guess mention the after credits thing. I thought the way that they're setting up bringing Maria Hill in was kind of cool. I don't know why, but as soon as May's mother showed up, I was like, this is gonna have something to do with Maria Hill, and then it totally did. But I thought that was cool, and could we please do a lot more of this kind of family stuff because we need to keep fleshing these characters out, and I'm glad that we're finally starting to do that kind of stuff. Those two immediately felt like mother and daughter.
Agreed. I thought, because for the first 2 seconds of the scene, I'm going, oh, who is this woman? She seems extremely important. There was just that sense about them and their whole relationship. It just felt like it had a history. So yeah, that was very cool. I hope we just don't get that one scene and that's it.
And they could have,
Or maybe we'll just see.
yes, what,
Hello. Oh.
Manos? Yes.
Yes, yes. Welcome to another episode of Awkward Science. Science.
I was, I was just gonna say, I think it is potentially interesting that May seems to have gotten into Shield because her mother is a government agent.
Yeah, she might be a legacy as well.
Yeah, we could be building to more stuff about Legacy. There's a lot more ideas building here than we had before, and I'm liking how all that is starting, but we don't know what it's all about yet. Best moment, worst moment. What was your favorite moment this episode, Manos?
Ugh, there was a lot of cool stuff in this episode,
I
actually.
thought so too. Yeah,
I guess. Ugh. The second place would be May's mom.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess I'd have to say Blackout when he's approaching. Oh, that's just a cool character, and I think everything done with him was just really, really well thought out. I thought he was just really a good presence in this episode. And also, we needed, after all this espionage kind of stuff, we needed just a good old fashioned super villainous guy.
That's just how I felt about it. And I thought it was cool that it didn't come out of nowhere. It still has everything to do with the technology that was saved at the fridge and stuff.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's all interconnected, which is nice.
and we're seeing very similar story construction that you see in comic books. There's the big crossover. There's the two tie-in issues of the surrounding book that has has the the fallout, and then that new continuity, the new normal is set up, and then we build from there, and that's what we're doing in the show.
Yeah, you're right. We already kind of have a status quo building here, where it's going to be the rogue Shield agents having to live in a world where nobody trusts them anymore. And by the way, I also liked all the stuff about the media and the government playing up how Shield was incompetent and awful, and no one should trust any agent left there, whether they're Hydra or not.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad they did all that. That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a tendency to forget about other government agents. Excuse me,
Yes.
other government agencies in stuff like this. Yeah, there's the CIA. There was the NSA that was mentioned. It's like, oh my
Well,
god.
they weren't just mentioned. They commandeered a satellite.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh man, people are worried already about the NSA.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's no coincidence that they went with NSA.
Yeah,
That's a lot of the kind of stuff that the Captain America movie was sort of talking about. I think was some social commentary about stuff that's been going on with those things. My favorite moment was this isn't really a moment, but I really enjoyed the montage of interviews.
yeah.
I wasn't sure about wards, but all the stuff before that, where they were mixing them in together, I thought was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed all the character stuff that we got in there, and some of it was kind of light and fun, and I appreciated getting some comedy.
You know,
Um,
yeah,
yes,
I the com it was a nice breath of fresh air. You know what? I gotta say, it almost reminded me of you write like I do. Of this kind of writer's exercise where you ask yourself, uh, what would your characters do or like in just ordinary mundane situations?
yeah.
It almost felt like that being acted out for us.
Well, and I think that, and maybe this was the obvious thing to do. I should have brought this up earlier. I wrote down all of the responses to what do you find in the box on the island, which is one of the questions you hear in a lot of these kind of abstract exercises. You're on a desert island. There's a box. What do you pull out of the box? And it's kind of telling. Again, maybe the obvious thing, but kind of telling that Fitz says Simmons.
Yeah,
Simmons is in the box. Like that is all he's thinking about. And
that
it's getting a little bit creepy.
that's a creepy answer.
And I don't think it's supposed to be. Like I don't know that that's supposed to be charming. I think that there may be something unhealthy going on there.
It's
I
like,
mean, like
is her entire body in the box?
I get the sense
What
that
are you thinking, Fitz?
because I get the sense that Simmons isn't just oblivious that he's into her. I think that she like legitimately just doesn't even remotely feel that way about him.
She doesn't. It's
I don't think.
possible. I don't know. I haven't seen too many scenes reflecting this, but it is possible she's aware, but she's trying not to acknowledge
Yeah, that's possible too.
because that is a thing in real life.
And they do that kind of typical thing of acting like they're gonna actually have a conversation about it, and then they don't. But I was kind of okay with it here.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, okay. So big idea. Still, of course, dealing with lots of the themes of betrayal and trust and manipulation. And then the stuff I was talking about earlier with infatuation and making another person your personification of the one good thing about yourself in order to in order to justify all the other horrible, crazy things that you do in your life. And oh, if you're with me, I won't be like that. I have a chance. That kind of thing always really bothers me. It's so sad that people take advantage of people like that, and I like that we got Coulson and we got this kind of tragic thing with Coulson and his lost love in the middle of all of that, because Coulson, of course, is not that way. And in the middle of all that, we've got Coulson talking about this I think like almost naive view of Shield, and I've thought that this whole season, where he says that our job is not just to follow orders; it's to do the right thing.
Hmm.
and like he just believes that everyone can be better than this. But I was like, wow, I don't know that I've ever heard a government agent say that.
Well, I don't know many government agents, so I don't.
Even in fiction, you know, like I don't think I've ever heard a government agent say that. And again, he has a character arc where he sort of gets out of that a little bit,
Yeah.
where he gets a little bit more realistic about it and decides that sometimes you do have to deceive your friends.
Not even sure
Um,
if James Bond has ever said that in 50 years of films.
well, James Bond is sometimes a very morally ambiguous character.
Yes, he is.
Uh, but anyway, so those are the big things I had there, and then of course following orders versus doing the right thing, which is what Coulson's character arc is all about. Did you have any other things thematically that I didn't mention?
Oh, no, I think we've kind of covered it all.
Okay, sweet. Well, our two guest stars this episode are Amy Acker, who we talked about already, and Patrick Brennan plays Blackout, and he's had kind of a career over the last 10 years. He was in Twilight, he was in Crash, he was in Sons of Anarchy, so lots of stuff I've never seen. But I liked him here. I thought he was fine.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he was very effective, especially that first scene where he kills that trucker guy.
Manos, did you have a favorite line?
The TARDIS line. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
I wrote that down too. The other thing I wrote down was nothing. This is Coulson. Nothing bad ever happens when you work with something called Dark Force.
Yeah.
Uh,
Colton is always funny.
And speaking of, yeah, booyah. Speaking of, let's talk about Blackout for a minute. The character, I just realized that the character that you were talking about earlier from Ghost Rider is actually Blackheart.
Oh, no, no, no.
Black
There is also a blackout.
in Ghost Rider?
Yeah. He uh,
Oh, okay.
he has a vampire villain with long hair called Blackout, and he has a similar power. Not just
Oh,
being a
forgive me,
vampire,
I
but he
didn't know.
also can black out the lights when he's near.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that. When I looked up
Oh,
this
maybe I should have saved that for
Blackout,
my trivia question.
when I looked up this Blackout character, I did not find that character. The character I found, well, although it might be the same character, and then like later on turned into what you're talking about, I don't know.
No,
But
they're
but
two different guys. Blackheart
really?
is
Okay.
the son
No,
of
no, no,
Mephisto.
no, I know that. I'm
Oh,
saying that the Blackout that I'm going to talk about might have turned into the Ghost
oh,
Rider
oh,
character that you're
oh,
talking
oh,
about.
okay, okay, okay.
He was created in 1978 in a Nova comic, and did control some interdimensional thing called the Dark Force, which was mentioned in this episode.
Ooh.
So it's nothing demonic. It's a science experiment gone wrong sort of thing.
Let's see. I'm looking at him on Wikipedia. There's actually two blackouts.
There's two blackouts.
Oh,
Okay,
and
yeah,
you know
I'm
what?
not seeing,
The
not seeing that
blackout
either.
you were talking about is Daniels, the Nova villain. The
Right.
blackout I'm talking about is what is his real name? Uh, Apparently that is his name. The Ghost Rider villain is not the same guy.
It's not the same guy. Okay.
Okay, so this is a Nova villain.
Manos, oh, well, let me mention a couple other comic things. I guess we've already kind of done this, but we mentioned the Howling Commandos thing, and we've got actually lots of name drops of movie characters in this. The technology that they used to try to take out Blackout was Bruce Banner technology. Um, do you have any predictions that we didn't talk about? I've actually kind of exhausted all of mine in conversation.
I think Coulson will be discovering the truth about Ward next episode.
Next
I
episode,
think so. So far, this is kind of working out the way I was thinking it was playing out.
I think that's potentially a safe bet. Although one thing that's very interesting is that they're kind of stuck out in the middle of nowhere with no mode of transportation right now,
Yeah, that's true.
unless there's something there that Koenig had
Well, I
that we don't know about, like some kind of land vehicle or something. I don't know.
true, and I don't know how long we will go without seeing May. Well, I don't know if she'll disappear looking for Maria Hill for an episode or two, or we'll see her immediately.
I imagine
Hill.
we'll see her right at the beginning of the next episode bringing Maria Hill to Coulson or something. I imagine they'll skip her going to Maria Hill and we'll just see them together.
Yeah, that would be fine.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do that, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they had Ward and Sky like on the plane for like an episode or two. Sky having to pretend for a really long time that she doesn't know what Ward really is, because it would be interesting to see her developing that gift of subterfuge that Ward has. I think they could get some mileage out of that.
Yeah.
I'm glad she knows already. Can I just say that? I'm glad that they're not going to string us along and have them have a relationship while we know that. Like I thought they were going to really milk that. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, that would have
They
been
are
pretty
they are
cute.
knocking some stuff out way faster than I thought they were, and this has turned into the right kind of pacing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yay. Okay, let's go on to our trivia questions then. Manos, what was your question from last time? What was the answer?
My question that I totally remember is about
Yay,
Patton.
good job. You remember.
Yes, thank you. It was about Patton Oswalt. He is actually somewhat of a veteran of doing geeky films and TV shows. My question was: name any one of the three, all three comic book film appearances he has done, and he has appeared, according to his page on IMDb. He has appeared in Blade Trinity, and episodes of Batman Beyond and Static Shock as a voice actor.
Okay, yeah, and I forgot about the Blade Trinity thing. That's what most of the people in the comments mentioned.
Yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't aware he was in Batman Beyond at some point.
Yeah, I'll have to see what character he played.
I have forgotten what character he played.
I knew he had done some voice work, but I didn't know exactly what.
Yeah.
Cool. My question from last time was also about him, and except it was from the episode. It was what kind of scenery does Koenig get in his kind of window thing on Wednesdays? And the answer was nude beaches. That was the answer. Manos, what is your question for this week, sir?
My question is another superhero acting question. Amy Acker. Oh, if I say her name too quickly, I call her Amy Actor.
Amy Actor. She's an actor, and her name is Amy.
Yes, born to act. Amy
Actor.
Acker has played a superhero in the past. Name that superhero.
Okay, my question is from the episode. What name was Sky given at the orphanage where she grew up and swiftly changed it to Sky? That's the question.
Okay.
And it was such a silly name. I want to say thanks to everybody, as always, for listening. Manos, thanks for doing this early, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. I had things to do this weekend, too, so I'm fine.
All right, cool. Well, folks, we really appreciate you listening. Feel free to leave comments and questions as always, and we will be back with you once again next week with another riveting discussion of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm the real Manos.
And we'll see you later.